Hey, how's it going guys? My name is Zealwood and today we're actually going to mix things up a bit today, alright? Instead of reviewing a full game, for the first time on the channel, we're actually looking specifically at its expansion. In this case, Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Just recently released a couple of days ago, and to answer the ultimate question, is it worth your time? And just to let you guys know, as we are looking at the expansion specifically, I won't be going into great detail about the base game. If this is something you are interested in, however, check out my Monster Hunter review video first, then come back to this one when you're done. So, as I said, Iceborne is Monster Hunter World's first ever expansion. The expansion starts pretty much directly after you defeat the final boss of the base game. Legiana flying ice wyverns have been sighted in the ancient forest area, which never really happens. You and the handler go to investigate why this is, notice loads of Legiana fly off in the distance, and wouldn't you know it, you notice an ice-covered landmass across the sea, as if no one thought to look in that direction. You're part of an expedition team on a new continent, mind you, and clearly no one has heard of fucking telescopes, apparently. As you explore the new area, you'll also discover returning monsters, and new subspecies. Not to give too many spoilers and ruin the story for those who are interested, but this cold weather is getting a bit out of hand due to a particular elder dragon appearing. You also get to experience the best plot twist in Monster Hunter history, which, don't get too excited, isn't that good. Iceborne's actual story progression is very short, and you could potentially complete the whole base story of the expansion within 24 hours very easily if you really wanted to. This isn't a bad thing, however. With Monster Hunter games, I find I prefer to rush the main story anyway, as to unlock the ability to hunt any monster you want and get the gear you want, so it's all good. Although very short though, I much prefer the story in Iceborne over the base game, as the characters are much more engaging in cutscenes, the story plot twist actually surprised me, and the overall general concept is actually somewhat immersive. Aesthetically speaking, there isn't really anything for me to talk about that wasn't in the core game, other than the obvious designs of the new monsters, the new weapons and armor you can get, and the new snowy region of course. The new monster designs are clearly just as high standard as all the existing ones. The new Master/G rank armor and weapons obviously shit on the current low and high rank sets, as they have always done since Monster Hunter Freedom, but I suppose the snowy region is definitely something to talk about. The new snow effects are absolutely brilliant. The way the snow moves out of the way as you walk, roll and attack through it looks incredible. I was very impressed when I played the beta and experienced the snow area for the first time. I actually don't like icy/desert areas in games, but as they've gone for the more gentle looking, soft snow covered look with a gentle snowfall effect as opposed to hard ice blizzardy type of area, I much prefer it. The soundtrack quality is still the same as the base game. Returning monster OSTs are nowhere near as good as the old originals, but the new edition soundtracks are pretty decent. Still sound like distant background music overall when compared to the very high standard of the old in-your-face OSTs, but I'll be honest, I do really like Phase 2 of the final boss track. Not as good as the Rotten Vale soundtrack of course, but definitely takes the second best slot. All of the sound assets are obviously carried over from the original game, except certain monster and player attack sounds, but the new snow effects from the ice area, like the crunching underfoot sounds, are very immersive. Now for what we're all here for, the gameplay. Plenty of brand new content brought to world with the new expansion. Firstly, the new quest hub and gathering hall completely shit on the old ones. No stupid chain elevators and no NPCs miles away from each other. Just a nice ground floor area, everything you need a stone throw away from everything else, and with a soundtrack that is actually good. Fucking awesome. They even made the minor details of bringing certain NPCs from the old hub to the new one, while replacing/removing them completely from where they used to be in the base game. Very nice touch. You also have a house at the new hub of course, this time with the ability to customize pretty much everything in and just outside of it. Yet another very nice detail. Everything else in the new hub has pretty much been brought over from the old one. They have made it much more convenient to manage the safari you send off without the need of entering your house every single time, and I've also brought the new addition to the hub, the Steamworks. Think of Super Mario World's minigame with the 3 boxes that you have to hit in the correct order, except you have to use fuel each time you play, and instead of getting extra lives as your reward, you get things like this. I guarantee you won't find a more accurate or brief explanation of the Steamworks than that on YouTube. It's a very good method to generate the armor spheres used to upgrade armor, by the way. Other than the new hub, Iceborne also brings a couple of new combos / features to every single weapon in the game. I won't go into extensive detail on them, but just to note a few, Longsword is definitely the single player go-to weapon in the game, as if it wasn't already. Sword and Shield is now actually very fun to use, and Switch Axe has had some completely game-changing combos. Also now with certain weapons you can fire slinger ammo mid-combo, which really helps stagger monsters to allow you to finish off your combo when timed correctly. Now probably the game's biggest and greatest new feature is by far the Clutch Claw. The item used in the core game to grapple onto certain points of the map can now be used to grapple directly onto the monster, regardless of what weapon you use. Each weapon has its own grapple attack, damage amount, and has the ability to either cause a weak spot on the particular area that you grappled, or break chunks off the monster onto the floor in the form of slinger ammo for an on-demand supply of projectiles. You can also force monsters to slam into walls, take damage and fall over for a time if you fire your slinger ammo directly into their face when the monster is not enraged. It can be difficult to pull off, but when you do, so satisfying. Oh, and by the way, a small feature, you can actually mount small monsters now, which run you directly to the large monster you're after automatically. Most convenient. Another reason why this expansion is so great is due to the introduction of G rank, or Master rank for us Western scrubs. In the base game you obviously had low rank and high rank. These are pretty much the difficulty levels of the monsters. Master rank is essentially the hardest difficulty of monster possible due to their harder hits, improved AI, and new abilities. If you're unfamiliar with previous titles, this is fucking huge. It's basically like paying for a new game called Monster Hunter World Ultimate, except they decided to make it an expansion instead for the convenience of the customer. It's basically an entirely new game. With this Master rank comes brand new monsters, all the existing monsters with increased difficulty, new subspecies variants, and returning monsters from previous titles. Hits you right in the nostalgia, you know? Iceborne has brought back literally every single monster I was hoping that would be included, like Savage Deviljho, Nagakuga, and Zenog. The one monster I did want to see was Giganox, which unfortunately isn't here, but oh well, we got Reijang, so I'm happy. New armor sets and weapons for every single monster also come with these new G rank versions, with more defense, more skills, and more gem slots. Expect to replace every single old armor set you had with these new ones. All equipment now exceeds rarity 8 and now goes all the way up to rarity 12. No magenta coloured rarity 12, which is unfortunate though. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's quite literally the icon colour from previous titles. They have also introduced the never before seen level 4 decorations, which you can place in armor pieces to get the additional double skills they provide to allow much more broad customizable options when creating your armor set combinations, which is brilliant. And finally, endgame in Iceborne is completely different from the base game. You can now venture to the Guiding Lands, a second new area which is a combination of all the game's zones excluding the ice and lava zones, all squished together to create a new special area. In this area you basically hunt to your heart's content with no limit on deaths, and monsters will continue to spawn at random to get your hands on the best endgame items in the game, which are only obtained from the Guiding Lands. As the expansion is still pretty new, you can find information online as to how they work in detail, but personally I've only dabbled in them at the moment, but from what I've researched and how they work, a brilliant addition to a Monster Hunter game that has never really been seen before. So much content, so little time. So for the ultimate question, is it worth your time? Its amazing new combat mechanics, brilliant additional monsters, and the jump to G rank make it an incredible expansion to an already incredible game. As a reassessment of the game due to the addition of this new expansion, I'm going to give this new overall game a 5-star or 96 out of 100. Definitely holds its position in my 5-star Hall of Fame, no problem whatsoever. In a nutshell, Monster Hunter World Iceborne is very close to a masterpiece in gaming, and has really set the standard for future console releases of the ever-growing Monster Hunter series. It was a must-play game before the expansion, and is still a must-play game after the expansion. The new weapon combos and Clutch Claw really bring an even deeper level of immersive gameplay and strategy to the game, and the fact that they've brought back G rank or Master rank is literally the best thing since sliced bread. Expect this new expansion to provide you with anywhere between 6 and 100 hours of gameplay, depending on how much you enjoy the customization aspects playing with friends, and love for the game in general. If they give an option to hear the original soundtracks from returning monsters, like Capcom did when they released Resident Evil 2, and also included endgame features similar to Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, this game would definitely be a masterpiece. But regardless, it's by far the highest rated game we've reviewed on the channel, and is therefore, at the moment, my most recommended game. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more games I'll be reviewing each week, and if you think I've missed anything or have any questions at all, make sure you check them in the comment section below. But as always, all the best guys, take care.
お前はもう死んでいる。何？